Hey, this is Zach from the RepPro team, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to use RepPro's remote e-signature technology. We'll begin here at the review process, where you and your client have reviewed the form to make sure that all information is complete and correct. You'll see in the To-Do menu all of the signatures that are required to be obtained for this form. In this case, we have the advisor signature and the client signature. To begin obtaining one of those signatures, you'll click on the Start button to the right. Next, you'll see three different ways in which you can obtain your client's signature. The first of which is the normal e-signature process in RepPro. You'll click this option if the client is physically with you. The second is the remote e-signature process. This is what we're going to show you today. By clicking this option, a secure link will be emailed to your client and they can sign the forms from anywhere. And last is printing and signing the forms by hand. We'll click on the second option, remote e-signature. You'll then see the recipient's contact info, which RepPro will use to email them a secure link to access their forms. Upon verifying the information is correct, you'll click the Send Forms button. An email will immediately be sent to your client, allowing them to access their forms. You'll now notice that the client's signature in the To-Do menu is listed as sent. At this point in the process, there's no further action required on behalf of the RepPro user. Instead, the responsibility now shifts over to the client. So let's take a second to look at what the client sees as they remotely sign their forms. So here you can see the email that your client will receive in order to sign their forms. RepPro customizes this email in order to make it seem like it's coming from your company. You can see that the company name is listed, in this case RepPro Financial, as well as the advisor's name. Let's click on the link to begin signing these forms. Before a client can access their forms, we must first verify that they're authorized to do so. RepPro uses an authentication system whereby a code is sent to the client's phone number. This system will work with both mobile and landline phones. Let's click the orange button to send the authorization code. The client will then enter the code they received and click the Submit button. By entering the correct code, the client will then be able to successfully access their forms. You'll probably recognize this screen as it very closely resembles the review process in RepPro. However, the client will see your company's name as well as their advisor in the upper left corner. Once the client has reviewed their forms, they can click the orange button to sign. They'll be asked to agree to a simple e-signature disclosure. Then they'll be asked how they would like to receive their paperwork. They have two options: to have the advisor provide the paperwork to them, or to have the paperwork emailed. For this video, we'll select that the client would like to have their advisor provide the paperwork. The client will then agree to another set of disclosures regarding the paperwork. Next, the client will create their signature by typing their name and their initials in the boxes below. The client will then be asked to verify their identity. RepPro uses a knowledge-based authentication system where the client is asked a series of questions that only they would know the answer to. The client will verify a few pieces of information here and then click the Continue button. They'll then be presented with a series of questions. The client will go through and answer each one of the questions to the best of their ability. They'll then click the Submit button. And if all questions are answered correctly, the client will be allowed to continue. Finally, the client will be asked to stamp their signature and initials on the forms. The system will scroll to each signature and initial location on the form, and the client will be asked a simple yes or no question of whether they would like to apply that signature. And finally, the last step, the client will be asked to submit their forms to their advisor. By clicking the Submit button, the forms will be sent back to RepPro, and you'll be notified via email that the forms have been signed by the client. Alright, so now that the client has taken care of their part of the process, let's hop back into RepPro and see how things look. So now we're back in RepPro looking at this client's profile. There's a couple things to note. First of all, in the upper right corner you can see that there's one new notification. By clicking on that icon, we'll see that John Smith signed that form. And furthermore, clicking on that notification will take us directly to that form. You'll see that in our to-do menu, the client signature is now listed as signed. From here, the advisor signature can be placed exactly the same way as we did the client signature. Thanks for watching, and we hope you enjoy using RepPro's remote e-signature.